welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, okay, quick reminder, I do have workshops that you can join me on. These workshops are amazing opportunities to learn more about yourself, your energy, your personal power. If you'd like to check it out, go to k33academy.com/store and you can see all that there. So, oh my gosh, get past your fear for this blessing. I don't even know what I fear at this point. I don't know what I fear. I don't know if you guys know what you fear, but there is something to do with fear and needing to get past it. So, hi, Germanica. um, yeah, let's see what the cards say. Oh my gosh, I'm suddenly feeling all these emotions. I know they're not mine. Ooh, whoever it is I'm feeling, I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay. All right, let us. Hi, Ugly Ugly. Hello, Divine Blue. Hello, Village Baby. Hello, Lexi. Okay. It's intense energy right now. I think today's energy is a very purgative one. You know, like very, very purgy. It's a purgy kind of day today. So, purge whatever you need to purge. Is that a triggering word for some people? Maybe. Release whatever you need to release. And no, I'm not modifying myself to be more tolerable, more palatable to people. I just, I think today is a very triggering type day, and I want to be mindful of the way I trigger people. It's true. Some days I feel that way. Some days I feel considerate. Today might be a day that, I feel a little bit considerate. All right. Let's get this party started. It's like a party up in here, right? Okay. Just breathe. Take it in, release. Take it in, release. It's a lot of intense emotions. Okay. Someone doesn't know what they're intending or what someone else is intending. Someone's needing Jesus. That's the feel that I get. Someone just needs a little bit of Jesus time. They don't know what's going on. It feels like frustration. It feels very much like frustration, like it's almost this sense of wanting to take the easy way, like they want an easy answer. They want, oh, it touched my face. Damn you. Sorry. I don't like my face touched. It feels like someone wants the easy way out, the easy answer, the easy solution. I don't know. I'm totally the type of person where it's this thing of like, you got to learn what you got to learn in the way you need to learn it. I'm very, very sorry, Habibi. Very, very sorry about that, Habibi. But you're going to have to learn this. And trying to find the easy way out is not going to help you learn to the degree that you need to learn this, whatever this is, right? So I'm over here trying to find a way to I'm suddenly trying to find a way to very gently encourage and coax you forward. There's some days where we need to just be grabbed by the scruff of our collar and just be dragged. And then there's other days where we kind of just need someone to sit with us, hold our hand and be like, "Hey, it's going to be fine. Just find the courage to stand up, take the first step. I'll hold your hand through this. It feels like for today, quite a few of us are needing the hand holding. Oh, quite a few of us are definitely needing that hand holding. You're very protected in this process. I think that this process has become such a viscerally felt process, and it's really, really affecting like sense of self. It's really affecting you know, like what's going on? What is it that you need? Let's do that first. First, I need these stray hairs to stop waving at my ADHD because then I can't focus. So that's what I need right now. What do you need right now? What is it that you're going through that you can't quite make sense of? Sometimes things in life need to be quantified. Other times, things in life just need to be accepted. And then there's other times where the things you need to accept can only be accepted after you allow yourself the time to quantify what you're accepting, right? So now I think there's a lot of confusion. No, no, it's not confusion. I'm going to correct that sense. It's this sense of you know what you need to do. You don't know if you want to comply. You don't know if you want to do it. I get it. It's okay. Sit with it for a moment. Allow yourself to sit with whatever this is, whatever decisions you know you need to make, and let it kind of just percolate a little bit, right? You don't always have to rush through life's lessons and life circumstance. This is not something that you can alchemically change. This is something that, if you can't flow with this, if you can't find the courage to flow with whatever this is, because it's leading you towards a blessing. If you can't find the courage to do that, the experience is going to be prolonged and last until autumn. That's a long ass time. That's like all the way on the other side of the year. That's a very long time. Maybe this ties into what I had said a few minutes ago of you don't always have to rush through the lessons, through the learning, through the expansion, the process of expanding your awareness of yourself. So I'm wondering if the message is to help you prepare. Right? Possibly. Possibly. Let's see what the other cards say. Ooh, yikes. Darnia. Okay, so um it's this thing of intensification. Things are going to intensify. Things are definitely going to get much more intense, much more viscerally felt. Oh, that hurt. Why did I do that? That hurt. Um as things intensify, part of the intensification is because someone is violating your boundary by way of dark magic. This is triggering me. Like, I don't feel like this is resonating with me and my circumstance personally, but this is triggering me because I don't like people being messed with using magical means. I don't like that at all. So, is this going to be the final time that this person who utilizes black magic will have access to you? Or are you going to need to go through this again and again and again? They're not going to change. Whoever this is not going to change. Okay? Jamie, I'm right there with you. Like, boo, I'm right there with you. Like, we're sick of this. Our community is sick of this. Whoever this is, they're not going to change. This is how they function. This is how they flow through their life. This is how they get their way. This is someone who is so accustomed to getting their way that in the event that they don't get their way immediately, they will resort to just the most horrendous behaviors. I got to remind myself. This is a general reading, and I'm not resonating with this. This is not my reading. I. mm, 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 mm. Jesus loves us. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves us. Oh, yes, he does. Okay. Channel your inner Jesus, girlfriend. Channel your inner Jesus. Remember your center space. Don't let this pull you out of center. Allow yourself to process the feelings that are naturally rising due to the awareness of the lack of integrity in this circumstance. Allow yourself to recognize that whoever is going through this, they have the capacity to get through this. They just need a reminder that they can get through this. Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, yes. Join me for my Black Magic Revocation live workshop. It's a 4.5 hour long workshop, and I focus on how to neutralize, how to negate the effects of dark magic on your life. I teach you all of this to the degree that I know you can handle. This is a bad situation. This is just a bad situation. This is very unfortunate. And it's this thing of, sometimes you get stuck in these types of situations because you're afraid of what the person will do if you move forward. So, okay. Some other tactics that people can use to entrap you, to ensnare you in their toxicity. So dark magic, that's already come up in the reading. Another thing that comes to mind are threats of self-harm. Now you got to take that stuff seriously. Okay? You don't want to feel the guilt and the responsibility of someone, harming themselves. That's not okay. So what I personally would do if someone were trying to use those tactics to try and manipulate me into interaction and to stay, there's a shift that just occurred. I would totally ask them where their location is, their exact location, an address. And then I would go ahead and call 911 as a 5150. If you are a danger to yourself or to others, that is a 5150. That is a involuntary psychiatric hold. Okay? I'm not joking. This is not a game. This is not a game. It's not a game. When someone threatens to be a danger to themselves or a danger to others, you have to take that seriously. In addition to taking it seriously and getting them the psychiatric, the mental health assistance that they need, unless you're trained, I mean, this is beyond your scope of helping someone. Let's be very real here. Okay? So they need the psychiatric evaluation, they need the help. Secondly, what's happening is when you do this every time they threaten to be hurtful or harmful to themselves or to other people, you are reprogramming them to accept there are consequences for your actions and your words. You can't just spout off at the mouth making all of these threats with no consequence to you. This is not a punishment. This is a direct result of your behavior and your consideration of things that are not okay. So you get them the help they need. You don't involve yourself. You are not a licensed, trained medical professional. You do not involve yourself with that. Okay. You do not enable that type of behavior. You get them the help they need. If they need to be locked down for 3 days, by all means, trained medical professionals will determine that. Okay. You need to find ways to liberate yourself from the very people, the very circumstance that serves to continue to trigger your fear. What's the title? Got to get past your fear for this blessing. There are certain circumstances, certain connections that cannot be allowed to follow you to the next part of your journey. It just cannot be allowed. It cannot be allowed to continue to trail behind you and follow you to the greatest part of your journey thus far. So it needs to be addressed and left where it is. There will be manipulative people who will try and tell you, like, oh my gosh, you're abandoning me. No, honey, this is beyond what I'm trained to do. This is beyond what I'm licensed, certified to handle. You need actual professional help, and I'm not professional in that field. So I hope you get the help that you need. There's nothing selfish about that. There's nothing that ties into abandonment about that. Stop allowing people to manipulate you. You have to stop. You enable that. You know what ends up happening is if you allow people for this type of circumstance, right, where they're making threats, if you allow people to continue to manipulate you, they will continue to up the ante. It's going to continue. It's going to cycle back around. Maybe the first time, you know, they'll say these things and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm coming right now. Where are you at? I'm coming. I'll be there for you. And then everything is fine for a little bit. They don't get their way again. So they're going to up the ante, right? And they're going to continue to up the ante. Every time there is a cycle that reestablishes itself, it will continue to escalate to the point where, you know what? You don't know when they'll actually get ballsy enough to do something. It's speculated that Marilyn Monroe was bluffing. That's sad. It was speculated that she did something harmful to herself, and then called someone because she wanted attention and she wanted help. Then and this is all speculation. And then, people have speculated that unfortunately she wasn't able to receive the help in time. You don't want that on your conscience. When someone is destabilized to the degree that these are the threats they are making, you need to take that seriously the first time. There needs to be consequences. These are not punishments. You know what I mean? It's not punishment. It's you finding the courage to get them the help they need and bowing out of that circumstance so that they can stop these cycles and you can start your new one, your new journey, your new cycle of learning, growth, and welcoming the blessings of life. It is not abandonment. It is not. If you take one thing away from this reading, I want you to really take in what I'm about to say. When you walk away from something that hurts you so deeply and you are accused of abandoning someone, that person is harmful to you, to your psychology, to your emotions, to your health, to your energy. Walk away and do not look back. Your presence fuels their distortion. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying your presence contributes to things And if that's the case, the healthiest, most loving, most responsible thing you can do is to walk away. It will hurt. You will feel like you're a horrible person, but horrible people don't feel bad for walking away. Take that as your evidence that you are not a horrible person. This has just gone beyond what you could help with. You got to be honest with yourself. Okay? This next part of your life requires you to remember the way these cycles just continue. It's a perpetual thing. I'm assuming for whoever this is resonating with, you are dealing with someone who you have dealt with in this way repeatedly. You have been imprisoned in this circumstance for a long time. Okay. It's gotten you very upside down in your masculine energy. For some, the secondary meaning for this is that there is a masculine individual, someone who has masculine energy. They've become so very upside down in their perception because this has been done so many times that you can't even see straight anymore. That's okay. You'll fix that. You will get yourself right side up again, and you will be the healer that you are seeking. You'll begin to heal your wounds. You'll begin to heal and correct your perception. Um, and that's part of the blessing, as well as part of the way you bring the larger blessing in. Okay. You're going to experience stability when you exit out of these perpetual cycles with a highly toxic, highly unstable individual. This reeks of spoiled brat entitlement energy. Like, this is what's being dealt with. A spoiled brat who is very entitled, and all of that is now expressing itself in a very, very, very questionable, unstable psychological crisis. You have to look at things sometimes from a very sterilized point of view. Empaths, especially Pisceans, we have a tendency to look at things from a very emotional space. Um, some of us will receive that type of circumstance as, this is my opportunity to prove my loyalty. It's not going to be enough. Whatever you think you're going to prove by sticking around, tolerating this behavior, this type of treatment, this type of terroristic behavior, it's terroristic. You know, yeah, whatever you're offering, it's not going to be enough. Because if that person was capable of seeing you as enough, accepting you as you are, it would have never gotten to this point. And it's not that you're not enough, it's that they can't see clearly how much you actually are, how much love you've given, how much support. Yeah. Yesterday, I was having all of these really introspective thoughts about certain types of situations. Um, and it was like this thing of reassessing, revisiting a connection that had faltered, a connection that had failed. It didn't falter, it fully failed. It disconnected. I disconnected intentionally. And it was this thing of allowing myself to experience the emotions that are understandable, the emotions that are appropriate for the circumstance that I was rehashing in my mind. And that circumstance was this thing of someone who I had actually been a very genuine, very loving, very generous friend to for how many years. Um, in their attempt to be hurtful to me, intentionally hurtful, they basically accused me of being a user. Hmm. That made me feel some kind of way. Because anyone who knows me, who I have interacted with on a personal friend basis for any length of time, anyone who's genuinely witnessed me in my most authentic state, really paying attention to my character, my integrity, the person that I am, the person who I show myself to be for years now. You know, I'm not a user. I don't fucking use people. I don't. I am someone who can consistently give with no expectation of receiving, not even a thank you. And I'm aware of this about myself. I'll even give to strangers. You don't have to thank me. You don't have to know my name. You don't have to become some type of follower or anything like that. Like if I see a need and I can fulfill that need, then I will. It's very simple. To me, it's very simple. Like one time I remember I was preparing to fly back home from Sacramento. I had just put my brother in the Airbnb long term, well, longer term. And I went to Walmart to get some stuff for myself and to get some stuff for him before I leave, make sure everything is stocked up. And I was paying, and I noticed this lady, her card wouldn't clear. Um, I don't know what was going on, but I heard her tell one of the workers, you know what? I get paid later this week. Can you just take this off of my bill because I don't have enough in my account? I think they were windshield wipers, and it happened to be raining that day. And I stopped what I was doing and I was like, no, it's okay. Leave it on there. I got you. And I stuck my debit card into the card reader and I was like, is this all you needed? And she's like, no, 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 it's okay. It's okay. I have money. I just have to wait until the end of the week. I'm not homeless. I have a job. I have money. I said, it's okay. You need windshield wipers. I completed her transaction and I left. I don't need to tell you. I'm Emmy Nicolina from Emmy Evolving. I'm on YouTube. I didn't take out my phone out. I didn't none of that. So when you know who you are, you know who you are. Don't allow toxic circumstance to cause you to question who you are to the degree that it's now become self-doubt. There's a difference between self-doubt and questioning. Questioning is asking a question, receiving the answer, receiving the confirmation, and accepting that. Doubting is when you ask a question, you receive the answer, receive the confirmation, the validation, and you don't believe that. So you ask again and again and again and again. And when do you stop? When do you stop? Right now. Right now is a good time to stop. You know the person that you are. And there are people in your life who are causing you to question that. It's okay to question because when you question, you get further confirmation, usually of what you already knew about yourself. It's not okay, though, to allow other people's distorted perceptions that are rooted in their instability, not yours, to be the very thing that causes you to think that you are someone outside of who you actually are. Gather your courage, move beyond the grasp of your fear, and enter into the space of authentic truth, the space of being able to see with clarity, the reality of who you are. It doesn't matter how much you do for a person. It doesn't. It doesn't obligate them to mirror your heart and your integrity. I had to learn this the hard way. It took me quite a few years to learn this. It doesn't matter how much you do for a person. If you're doing something in hopes of what you're doing is being received as a prepayment for their loyalty long term, Yeah. This is not how it works. Just do it because your heart tells you to. Don't expect anything in return. When your heart doesn't tell you to, even if it pulls on your heartstrings, you just wish them the best and you walk forward and you trust that the right person will cross their path, the person they're meant to have that interaction with. Another time, I was at, sorry, I got to take off my workout gear. I was at the store with a really good friend. We were preparing for Thanksgiving dinner at my brother's house. And I don't carry cash. I never carry cash because if you give me cash, I'm going to spend that shit. I never carry cash. I just don't. And someone came up to us in the parking lot. And my friend knows that, Jesus Christ, please, sir, let go. Shit. Please, sir, do not hold on to me. Let go of my belly, sir. Okay. Okay. We're going to be fine. There. Whew, we're fine. See what I'm saying? We're fine. So we're at Walmart. And my really good friend is with me. She has a very similar heart to my own. Someone walks up to us in the parking lot and they ask us, this person asked, well, they asked me for money for food. I don't have cash. I'm very sorry. I felt a little twinge in my heart, but I didn't feel called to go back inside the store to the ATM to pull out cash to give to the person. I did feel that like, it's about to be Thanksgiving. But I kept loading the groceries. And we get in the car and my really good friend says, should we go back inside and pull money out? And I said, you know how I am with people. And I didn't get that instruction from my soul. My heart didn't lead me to go back inside to get cash to give to that person. And she's like, okay. And then we're in the car and we see that there is a couple that arrived in the parking lot and the woman is going back to her car and then she's going back to the man and she's giving him food. I'm like, see, it wasn't for us to have that interaction. But being that way, I've still had people try and convince me when they could no longer access me, when they knew we were at the cusp of our paths diverging, splitting. They will try and convince you that you're horrible. You're not. The person's just hurt. And they're grasping at straws to try and keep you confined, to try and force you to stay with them. That is not healthy. Find your courage to walk away from that because there is a beautiful life waiting for you. Beyond that fear of actually being a bad person, because what? Because you finally chose your health over someone's preference to remain toxic. Everything's going to be fine. They're going to find the people they need, just like you will find the people you need to help reassure you, to restabilize you, to help you remember when you need it the most how good of a person you are. You're not a bad person. Bad people don't feel badly for the bad things they do. You're not a bad person. This, dear Monica, you're here for a reason, boo. I've been blocking so many people lately. Yes. Do what you need. Oh, okay. So, find balance. One of my good friends on Facebook posted this and I snatched it. I snagged it. I'm going to share it on the screen because sometimes this is me too. Sometimes I embody this. Just depends. This right here, we all need to see this. It even looks like me. Hold up. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Here. Nobody. Nobody doing anything. Me, secretly unfriending people from my friends list because of mood swings. That used to be me. I used to do that quite often. But find the middle ground. Find the middle ground. Okay. The people who you need to kind of push out, they have a tendency to not respect the fact that you have a need. Actually, there's this one friend from years ago. I've known her for a very long time. I'm not sure. I think I might have unfriended her at some point. Yeah. I've known her for a very long time. And at one point I saw one of her posts and I was just like, "Ho. Ho, I can't with you. I can't. I just can't with you." I don't remember what it was. I don't even remember. But we had a little bit of an exchange. And I was like, "I'm done." And I blocked her. Come like a year, I think it was about a year later, she created a whole new account. And she's not one to do that. She's gorgeous. She's not one to do that. But she created a whole new account just to be able to reach out to me. And I realized I was just being such a little bitch that day. I was. And I was like, "I'm so sorry." And we reconnected again. Um, and it was beautiful. She's very opinionated is the issue. She's very opinionated is my issue, not the issue, is my issue. And she's not very tolerant of other people, which it's not my place to tell her who to be. But she was on a rant for weeks about Trump, of all people. And I was like, he don't give a fuck about us either, right? Right? You know that, right? I didn't say that. I was just like, I'm good. I do believe I unfriended her again. Not blocked, just unfriended. But again, you know, is she toxic to me? No, we just have differing opinions. I'm not into politics, period. So it just grinds my gears sometimes when someone just believes so deeply in other people solving the problems that we participate in perpetuating. Right? We are the solution. Every single last one of us. We are the solution to all the problems society has, the things, the diseases, disease states that plague humanity, diseased mental states, emotional states, physiological states, social and financial states. We're the solution for that. It's not one singular person. So I do need to refriend her again. I need to reach out and be like, "I'm sorry. I'm moody as fuck. I've known her since she was 18. Um, yeah. I met her because I was her photographer, makeup artist, hairstylist, and wardrobe stylist. She was a model. And I was helping her to get signed with an agency. And I really just took her under my wing and made sure that she was safe. And I tried my best to protect her in that industry. God, I'm such an asshole sometimes. It's the truth. Sometimes I could be such an asshole. Mm. I will say sorry. I have to. I need to. I need to say sorry. I will. So, gratitude in reverse. This lack of gratitude for um, the very circumstance that's growing you, the very circumstance that is encouraging and supporting the process of you returning back to your space of center, moving past your fear, all of these different things, right? Yeah, that's what creates a lack of balance. That's definitely what creates a lack of balance in your life. And that leads to your emotions being flared up. But here's the thing, your emotions are the very thing that can serve as the fuel for your rise. Are you ready to rise? Maybe that's a real question. Are you ready to rise? Is the ways in which you are fighting your process um really just a symptomatic presentation of your fear of your rise? Mm. Ooh, ooh, this popped in my head. My entire life, I've been convinced by myself that I have a fear of heights. I have a phobia. Um, yeah, even standing on a seat is like, I'm scared of heights. And then one day, a couple years ago, I went with a really good friend of mine to go skydiving. I was a little bit unhinged. My mom had passed away, so I was unhinged from that. And I was just like, I just need to feel alive. And so I convinced my really good friend to come out to where I was and to go skydiving with me. Let that sink in. So we did. And I didn't feel fear the entire time we were driving there, the time that they took to tell us what to do. I didn't feel fear even when I was in the harness strapped to some random man's crotch in a tin can of an airplane. I didn't feel fear as the plane lifted off the ground and I could feel us climbing altitude. I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel fear when the altitude meter that's supposed to be on his wrist to ensure we don't die was down by my ankle. I didn't feel fear when I was like, hey, do you need that? And he was like, oh shit, that's important. I was like, oh, I'll grab it. And I gave it to him and he put it on. I didn't feel fear then. I did, however, feel fear when he opened the door. I felt fear because I didn't know who I was trusting. It was just a moment. And I was like, oh, it's too late now. You're blocking the doorway. So you kind of got to get out in order for the other person to jump too. And then I was hanging on to a bar attached to the underside of the plane's wing, staring at the sky. And I was like, do you feel scared yet? Well, scared or not, it's happening. And then he said to let go. At which point it took a second to click that the airplane was getting further and further away from my hands. Ooh wee! Yeah. And then within a few seconds the parachute opened and we were dang-a-langin' for a good 10 minutes, high as fuck in the sky, and I didn't feel any fear. I felt very comfortable. I felt very at home being that high in the sky. No fear at all. I felt so peaceful. And that's when I realized I'm not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of the process I have to go through to reach the altitude I belong at. Is that what you're scared of? The process, not the end result. Is that what you're scared of? Because I think for some of us, that's what we're scared of. I think for many of us, the thing we fear the most is the evidence that we will receive when we allow ourselves to go through the process. The process of what? I don't know. I don't know. The process of you becoming you, maybe? You have the integrity. What you lack is a communication between the self and the soul. You lack the courage right now to move forward. The only reason you lack that courage is because you haven't taken the time to find that courage, right? You haven't taken the time to allow yourself to do what it is you need to do. I want to share this with you guys. Hold on. All right. It's a random ass man. Hold on. Here. And I was like, am I scared? All right. He said, make a cool move, make a cool pose. Yeah. Yeah. Did I look scared? Sometimes it's a very it's the very traits that you have, the traits that you're feeling some kind of way about, the parts of you that you kind of don't like about yourself that will give you the courage to get out of the plane. I didn't want to be an inconvenience by saying I don't want to go anymore. I didn't want to be the killjoy. I didn't want to ruin that moment for my friend who went with me. Um, I didn't want to. I didn't want to annoy the men who had to modify their entire day to be able to accommodate me going, right? And so the parts of me that are super ugly in my eyes, the people pleasing, the not being able to speak my truth, not being able to communicate my needs when I need to communicate it. Those were the very parts of me that gave me the courage to get out of that plane. Crazy. Every part of you is valid. Every part of you lends courage to the other parts of you that maybe are currently deficient in courage, right? I mean, yeah. Yeah. Mm. Help me to see what kind of process I survived and ended up thriving beyond watching that video. It was very triggering in the most beautifully blossom inducing way. It was very triggering to watch that. Yeah. I think sometimes we get so caught up in pretending to be okay for the people around us that we don't remember until we're shown, until we're triggered, just how not okay we were. Right? Mm. That man was a nut. He was hilarious. He was a nut though. He was the owner and he was a nut. His nuttiness was highly compatible with my own. Sometimes you have to be still in order to fully surrender, right? Sometimes you have to be still in order to fully surrender. Sometimes part of the surrendering is recognizing the ways in which you don't allow yourself to receive. Sometimes the only way to receive is the same way a dragon receives its fire, by exhaling, by purging, by allowing your very breath to exit your body. And that doesn't mean that you allow yourself to perish. That means You exhale what's no longer usable, what's no longer needed, so that you can create space to inhale the very thing you do need, the very thing that will sustain you, at least until the next breath. Sometimes we look too far ahead in the future. Sometimes we look too far ahead in the future. If you're looking at breaths, what does it matter what your breath will be in 5 days if you don't take your next breath now? I went from being someone who pre-plans everything and has all of these lists and even a list for my lists, like crazy, to now being someone who really just, I go with the flow. If we're going to go take a trip, we usually don't even have a place to stay yet. And I kind of just look for what feels right as we're on the road. We have a few hours. It's fine. Right? Allow for the natural endings of the things that no longer serve you, the things that need to be released, so that you can take in the new codes, the new energies, the new mindsets. You can embrace the very things that have been hidden from you, obscured from your view by you. You need clarification on what it means to be lost and not have direction. Society, spiritual groups, all of that, the gurus and yada, 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 they say things that make you feel like if you feel lost, you're in a space of disempowerment and it's bad and this and that. And are you kidding me right now? The moment you realize you've lost direction is the most powerful moment in your journey. Why? Well, because that's the moment you consciously choose to make a decision of what to do. You are now actively controlling the way you are experiencing your journey. How can you be lost when the end destination has not yet been planned, has not yet been decided? Are you ever really lost? Or is it just your perception of your positioning within your life that causes you to not have the courage to move past your fear in order to bring in the blessings? Be careful of the traps that are laid before you. These traps that get you so caught up in a hyper intellectualization of something that's very simple. It's very, very simple. Sometimes, and I've noticed this with smart people, it's like the smarter you are, the harder it is to accept the simplistic nature of the answer. Like it has to be complicated in some way or it can't possibly be right. I homeschool my children. They're very advanced. They are very, very highly intelligent. And I remember for one of my children, we were doing, I think they're called like factor trees for mathematics. And I showed him the very simple way. And he's like, no, 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 no. He did some complex algebraic equation. Mind you, he was in kindergarten. He literally did some complex algebraic computation with no paper. He's verbalizing this while staring at the ceiling. And then he writes down the same answer that I got to, doing it very simple. And I was like, but what the hell did you do? At which point he repeated it again, literally algebraic computations with like unknown variables, okay? Kindergarten. And I was like, but we get to the same answer the way I showed you. And he's like, that's not right. That's not right, mommy. That's too easy. That's not right. That's wrong. And I was like, but we came to the same answer. How's it wrong? And then he flipped the tables on me and was like, well, mine isn't wrong if it's the same answer. Well, shit. Well, why are you asking me for help for your homework then? Go on then, do your damn algebra. The smarter you are, whether it's recognized, accepted, or not, There's different forms of genius. Different forms of genius. It's not just school genius, right? Different forms of genius. Even if you don't recognize the degree of your genius nature in whatever it is you excel in, you're still a genius. And here's the thing. It's damn near impossible for you to accept the simplistic nature of the truth of the answer. We have a tendency to overcomplicate things, create complex simplicities just for the sake of being able to reassure ourselves that this is right because it was hard to get to this answer, to get to this conclusion, to get to this point where I am now understanding the way forward. You can either drive forward or you can do a 7-point turn. I said 7-point turn, drive in a donut, do some corkscrews with that vehicle, reverse, put it in neutral, put it back in drive, and then drive forward. You can do that if you want to. You can. That's okay. I'm probably going to silently judge you in my mind, but it's valid. It's valid. You're valid. Yes. That's the way forward for you. It is. It's the way forward for you. I will be silently saying to myself, what the fuck? It's okay. It's okay. You're valid. I mean, you got to know when you're that type of person. I'm that type of person too. That's why, I'm going to let you do what you do. I'm going to feel whatever way I feel silently because I do that too. Literally. I do that too. It's time for you to enter into this elevation of self-healing. You are the healer you are waiting for. Excuse me. When you get upside down in your thoughts, it's because of parasitic inception. Something is trying to incept into you, into your thought process. All of these negativities pertaining to the process you're in. All you got to do is stop listening to it. It's not even your voice. Those intrusive thoughts that you think are your own, they're not. That's thought inception. It's parasitic thought inception. You know how when those intrusive thoughts start, you start to feel tension in your shoulders, in your neck, you feel it in your jaw, because the most efficient manner to anchor into your field, if you are a parasite attempting to utilize thought inception, is around this region. This region. It's thought inception. All of these things that psychology and modern science, modern medicine, is trying to convince you that you're diseased in some way. No, you're highly empathic. You're highly intuitive. You are so fucking gifted. You hear things that are beyond what science, medicine, and psychology can actually efficiently, effectively, accurately quantify. You're fucking badass. You don't even realize. You don't even realize. You don't give yourself the credit. Why do you think you don't have the courage? Because you refuse to acknowledge how fucking amazing of a miracle that you are. That's the reality of it. If you can allow yourself to accept those things about you, the profound nature of you, well, really powerful things can happen for you. But you have to allow, because if you don't allow, I mean, you're the utmost authority in your field. That's what it means to be a sovereign. So card number 13, arise. Wings of hope languish from lack of use. When wings dissipate and weaken, life begins to lose its value. Every cell in your body is created to rise to challenges. Your life is meant to confront everything that holds you captive. That includes the very people who try and captivate you with their toxicity. They try and hold you captive. They try and impress upon you the views that they demand you to have in order to better control you. Don't sit at the bottom of the well, not caring about salvation. Listen to the voice within calling to you. Reach for eminence beyond your own maturity. I dance before you in sacred spectacle, hoping to garner your attention. Look at me, I cry to your ailing spirit and despondent flesh. Look at me. If you were to look up, you would see that I am a mirror of your own being, your light, your heart, your spirit, your all. Yes, there is pain. Yes, there is letting go taking place, and you're frightened and uncertain sometimes, but you make this mean something that it does not. It means that you are to turn your head away from what is dying. Do this gently but firmly. Turn your head towards what is living. Look at me. I will show you truth, and you shall laugh your deepest belly laughter with so much glee, sharing in my secret that the only force at work in your life is unconditionally loving divinity. I see you, a divine wild child and sacred heart. You have gumption, chutzpah, guts. You dare to love where others only see pain. You dare to believe that everything will somehow work out where others see only what they judge to be wrong. You see love where others ply fear. You seek freedom where the world still buys into manipulation and propaganda. Don't lose heart, beloved wild child. Dare to believe. You are right to do so. It is the divine rebel in you that refuses to surrender hope. Give up the fight, perhaps, the battle that comes from a place of fear, but never give up your hope. That hope in your heart, that optimism and patience for growth into love creates a light within you that helps the world see through darkness. It becomes a candle that shimmers contentedly upon the windowsill of your heart temple. There it is, more obvious even in darkness. The stars do appear to shine brighter at night. But don't become consumed by your nightmares. They will pass with the coming dawn, you'll see. Don't give them too much stock. Instead, put your attention towards a defiant candle of hope that burns, as it is its nature and purpose within you. Can you sense its warmth, even in the presence of cold fear? It shall warm you now, and if not, then I come to remind you, you are a blazing angel. You are filled with holy fire, and you shall prevail. The joy of you, the expanse of you. You fill my own heart with your magnificent essence. I see and know the great beloved in you. There the great beloved is, looking out at me from behind your eyes. I see the candlelight of your heart temple flicker within your gaze. That is what the candle of hope honors, the workings of the great beloved, so creative and crazed with love for you, that all circumstance of your life, down to the tiniest detail, are evoked out of love. Love out of passionate desire takes you from despair into hope, from holding on to letting go, from turning away to opening up. So the great beloved takes you across the moonlit ocean into the temple of the cosmic heart. Here, an eternal flame burns bright with hope, igniting the light within the hearts of all of humanity. What if you're the spark? What if you are the spark that sets the whole world on fire? Not a fire to cause destruction, but a fire to create warmth, to create a beautiful healing ambiance, to create that which is needed to sustain life. Fire is not just destructive. Fire is a totality. It has the capacity to destroy just as easily as its capacity to sustain life. It's all in what you do with that flame, with that fire. You're being asked to trust, to gently lay to rest the suffering that has been, perhaps because of what you have labeled as a failure, the doubt, the losses, and setbacks. You've been disappointed so many times. What if you've been disappointed because of your expectation not being aligned with the reality of the process you're in? right? Hi, Gaze. Gaze says the traps distract us from our true path. I see life differently. Our awareness of the traps are the very things that remind us to get back on our path, to be aware of where we're headed. Sometimes we walk our path for so long with our head down, staring at our feet, not realizing where we're going. And when you become of the trap, when you become aware of the trap in front of you, it snaps you back into awareness. It snaps you back into a space of lifting your chin, conducting yourself, holding yourself, moving with grace, compassion, and dignity. The traps serve a purpose, but only if you're paying attention. Only if you're allowing yourself to recognize the reality of the experience you're in. I've had so many people try and ensnare me. I'm grateful for every single one. Not because their behaviors grew me, but because their behaviors help to remind me it's time for me to choose once again my growth, my healing. I chose because of their behaviors. I chose to go back to my space of center. You are responsible for yourself. That means what you choose is powerful. It is powerful. It is what will dictate how you experience your life. They are so little in the greater scheme of things. Put them aside. Allow them to rot and become fertilizer for life, but do not try to keep them alive beyond their earthly expiry date, lest you become tainted or poisoned by the rot. This is why you need to let go of the toxic people, toxic circumstance. This is why they are not allowed to go forward with you in the next part of your life, your journey. Let them go and instead focus on what is alive now. Can you sense that before you is a great being of light, a greater pathway opening up? This is truth, blazing angel. This is truth. Take the step. So easy is it when the light of the heart is felt within, reminding you of your own divine nature. The world is here for you to experience so that you may realize divinity in its majesty, mystery, and love, more so than ever. All serves that sacred purpose, so embrace it. Find your faith, be at peace. Know that no matter what happens to be, whatever appears to be, all is well. You are so loved, it cannot even begin to be translated sufficiently into words, but it can be transmitted from my heart to yours, just as the sun catches dried tinder and sets it aflame. Ooh, I don't have time. I was going to say, I want you to feel the love that I have in my heart for life, for others, for creation, for potentiality, for the process that we're in that's helping to cultivate the greatness that we are becoming. Woo. This oracle comes with a message for you. Arise. You've been downtrodden for long enough now. Perhaps you've been feeling defeated, put upon, underestimated, or walked over in your mind, body, and spirit by others or your own doubts and fears. Enough now. You are liberated through the hope in your heart, the defiant optimism that buoys your spirit and demands that you shall have your dawn. You shall rise like the sun and begin anew now. Set up. It's your time. Love that. Oof. I have to. You guys have to feel this. If you would like to feel the love that's overflowing from my heart space right now, put hashtag heart. Hashtag heart. I'm going to calibrate it to that, and I'm going to let y'all feel it. Okay. This is so much energy. Hashtag heart. You feel that? Even if you don't, I do. And for me right now, that's more than enough. Life is just so beautiful. Even in the ugliest parts, the parts that hurt the most, there's beauty in that. It's concentrated at the end of that pathway. It's like your beautiful reward from life, from soul, from your heart. It's a reward for you getting through the parts that help you to better understand the love that's waiting for you on the other side of it. Something beautiful waits for you on the other side. The other side of the process that you're currently in, the process that's causing you to feel as though life itself is destroying you and your heart. No, it's a debridement. The toxicity is being cleansed with a high power hose. The more you hold on to it, the more painful the cleansing becomes. The answer is to simply let go. Let go and accept that you're afraid, while you simultaneously accept that you have the courage to overcome that fear. Invest in yourself. Let go. Let go and allow yourself to be transported to the other side of that fear. Something very beautiful waits for you there, with no judgments, no condemnations, no nothing negative, just this eternal, perpetual patience waiting for you to come out the other side. I'll see y'all on the other side. You'll get through your process. You always do. You'll get through your process. You'll find your courage. You'll overcome your fear, and you'll realize just how strong you are as you cross the threshold into the other side. And that's where I'll wait for you. On the other side of what you're going through. On the other side of your doubt and your capacity to overcome. The very invitation that gets you to the point of awareness that there is another side. Give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. Join me for my workshops. Fuck all the dark magic. I gotta go. I love you guys. I'll see you again very soon. Bye, everyone.